Hello, I'm Miss Mac, and this is our Brain Trainer Noggin. We welcome you to a new Early Genius video. This is the fifth in a series of videos concerning advanced vocabulary. Noggin and I are going to show you a quicker way to remember words and definitions taken from the top 50 words often found on many standardized tests. In this video, we will cover 10 words beginning with the letters from U through Z using what we call memory makers, which is another word for mnemonics, the art and science of memory, the fun and creative way to remember. Here we have unruly U, making a lot of noise by banging on a pan, while Zenith Z has reached the highest point on the mountain. Both are examples of how learning can be faster and easier through alliteration with pictorial associations. These came from a special book. Let's take a look at that book. It is entitled The Yummies and the Yuckies. We are only looking at words that begin with the letters U through Z, but there are over 50 words in all to choose from. If you can find the book at your local library, you'll be able to do word hunts, use story starters, and silly sentences to help you become a better writer. And there are also yummy and yucky tests to see how well you remember the words. There is no one perfect way to strengthen memory skills. So we're trying to just use techniques that make remembering easier with less time and energy. So we're going to use pictorial association, alliteration, and something rarely used, the flavor of words. Here we have the sun that represents the yummy words which have a positive flavor. The yucky words represented by the storm cloud have a negative or harsh meaning. Since repetition is key, by the time we get to the end of this video, just like the previous ones, you will have seen the word and its definition over 5 times, making it easier to use. So let's look at those 5 ways again. The first way we present the words is in the form of cards with the word, the definition, and the picture. Pretty simple, straightforward. Then we have the illustration first, and then we seek out the word that goes with that illustration. On the big screen, we have larger print, movement, and illustration again. And in the fourth presentation, we have all the words together in groups, all the yummies together, all the yuckies together. Then we have number 5, the quick review, which is a lot of fun because the word, the meaning, and the illustration move across the screen very quickly. If you choose, you can take a test at the very end to see how well you retained the information. So let's look at the illustrations. On the left of the screen, we have the letters of the alphabet from U through Z. All of the characters have happy faces, or smiles, or positive representations or expressions. These are called the yummies, and they are represented by the sun. On the right side, we have the same letters of the alphabet from U through Z, but everyone on this side have either frowns or angry looks or negative expressions, and they are called the yuckies, and they are represented by the storm cloud. So now let's look at each letter separately. The letter U is represented by the yummy word ubiquitous and the yucky word unruly. Ubiquitous U means everywhere at once. As you can see, he's running around. Unruly U is represented by the girl who's banging on the pan, who is uncontrollable and noisy. So we're going to give a ubiquitous amount of yummy stickers to ubiquitous U, and we're going to give a yucky sticker to the yucky word unruly U. Now let's look at the illustration. Let's start with the letter U that's everywhere at once. Is he unmatched, unusual, ubiquitous, united? The answer we're looking for is ubiquitous because we know that that means everywhere at once. And we have the arrow to make the connection. The second illustration for the letter U is the girl banging on the pan. What is she? Is she uncertain, understood, unruly, or useful? She is unruly. And the meaning for that is uncontrollable and noisy. And we have the arrow to make that connection. Next we have the letter V. and the two words are virtuoso V and vituperative V. Virtuoso V means master or expert. He's playing the violin. Vituperative V means abusing or accusing. He's pointing at somebody and his fist is up. So we give a yummy sticker to the yummy word and a yucky sticker to the yucky word. Now let's go to the illustrations. First we have the letter V, the person who is playing the violin. Is he a vagabond? Virtuoso? Is he valiant? Is he valuable? The word we're looking for is virtuoso because he is a master or expert at what he does. And we have the connection with the arrow. The second illustration is also with the letter V, and it's a person that is pointing and he looks angry. Does he have valor? Is he vague? Is he violent? Or is he vituperative? The word we're looking for is, of course, vituperative, because that means abusing or accusing, and we make our visual connection. The large screen makes it easier to pick up information. So we have the yummy figure of the sun, and we have the yummy word ubiquitous. Ubiquitous is doing a cartwheel, and the definition is everywhere at once. And we have the illustration of the letter U being everywhere at once. The next one, of course, is the yucky word, and the yucky word that starts with U is unruly. The definition of unruly that is puffed up is uncontrollable and noisy. And we have the picture of the girl banging on the pot. We're back to the yummy word that begins with the letter V, virtuoso. Virtuoso has the definition of master or expert. And the illustration that goes with that is the letter V of the person playing the violin. The yucky word that starts with the letter V is vituperative. Vituperative means abusing or accusing. And we have the letter V pointing at someone else with a frown on his face. Oh boy, now we have comic relief. Thank you, NA9. Let's look at his riddle. What is the question? What do you see once in June, twice in November, and not at all in May? Well, June and May are in the spring, and November is in the fall, but I don't think that's what they're talking about. Here comes the answer. Oh, the letter E. Of course, June has one E, November has two, and May does not have any at all. I think I've seen this one before. The two words for W are whimsical W and willful W. Whimsical W is the yummy word that means amusing or fanciful. Willful W is the yucky word that means stubbornly disobedient. So we have a yummy sticker for the yummy word and a yucky sticker for the yucky word. Now let's go to the illustration. Which illustration first? Oh, the W, that looks very happy. So what is he? Is he wild? Maybe. Whimsical? Wholesome? Witty? The answer we're looking for is whimsical, because whimsical means amusing or fanciful. And we have the arrow to point at the word and the illustration. The second illustration that we're going to look at is also a W, but it is the yucky word. Is he willful, watchful, warm, or weird? He definitely is willful because he is stubbornly disobedient. So we have the arrow pointing at willful and the illustration to make the connection. The two words for the letter X are unusual. We have X-ray X, the yummy word, which two things: to penetrate objects as if you got an X-ray for a broken bone, or to examine. Xenophobic X means that you have a fear of strangers. That's the yucky word. So we have a yummy sticker for the yummy word and a yucky sticker for the yucky word. Now for the illustration. First one we start off with is the X that looks like he's had an X-ray. So this is going to be easy. and we look at our four choices: X-ray, xylophone, Xerox, and Xeris. X-ray is the correct answer because that word means to examine or to penetrate object, and we have the arrow to make the connection. The second illustration that we're going to look at is the X. It's the yucky word. Is it Xeris, xylophone, xenophobic, or Xerox? Of course, it's xenophobic because we know that xenophobic means fear of strangers. And we have the arrow to point at the word and the illustration. We start on our large screen with the yummy word of whimsical. Whimsical is doing a cartwheel for us. The definition of whimsical is amusing or fanciful. And we have the illustration of the letter W, who seems very happy. Next we have a yucky word, and that yucky word is willful. Being puffed up comes the definition, stubbornly disobedient. And we have the letter W with a stern look on his face, a disobedient look on his face with his arms crossed. Back to the yummy word, we have X-ray. X-ray has two definitions. The first definition is to investigate. The second one, to go through materials. And the illustration we have for this is the letter X that has had an X-ray done to him. At last we have a yucky word. This word is xenophobic. Xenophobic means fear of strangers. And we have the illustration of the letter X, who is very afraid. Now we have comic relief. Thank you, Inane I. Let's see what your riddle is now. Question: how do you spell cow in 13 letters? Well, cow, the word cow has 3 letters, so there's always got to be a trick. So let's just go right to the answer. Answer is C-O-W, spelling out all the words instead of using letters. That's pretty clever. Try that one on a friend. The 2 words that represent the letter Y are yammering Y for the yucky word and yielding Y for the yummy word. Starting with the yielding Y, which means producing or giving way. Looks like a policeman who's holding up the yield sign. Yammering Y looks like he's stomping the ground. He evidently is whining or complaining. So we give a yummy sticker to the yummy word and a yucky sticker to the yucky word. Now for the illustration. So which one are we going to start with? This one. Oh, okay. Easy enough. Is he yappy, yielding, yearnful, or younger? Well, the answer is, of course, yielding. He's holding up a yield sign, so that makes it easy, which means producing or giving way. And we have the arrow that is pointing at the word in the picture. Second illustration is also the letter Y. He's stomping the ground. Is he yearning, yawning, youthful, or yammering? The answer, of course, is yammering, because we know that yammering is whining or complaining, and we have the arrow to make the connection. On to the letter Z, have Zenith Z and Zealot Z. Zenith Z is the yummy word. It means highest point. He's at the top of a mountain looking out. Zealot Z is someone who is overly enthusiastic. Sometimes you can say they can rant and rave or yell. And we have the yummy sticker for the yummy word and the yucky sticker for the yucky word. Now going to the illustrations. First we have the letter Z with his hands up in the air. Is he zone, zealot, zombie, or zest? The answer, of course, is zealot, which means overly enthusiastic. And we have our connection. The second illustration is again the letter Z, but this one is at the top of a mountain looking out. Does that mean zoom, zigzag, zest, or zenith? Zenith is our answer because zenith means the highest point. And we have the arrow to make that connection. We begin on a big screen with a yummy word called yielding. Yielding means to produce or give way. And we have the illustration of the letter Y of the policeman holding up the yield sign. The yucky word for the letter Y is yammering. Yammering means whining or complaining. And we have the letter Y that illustrates that very well. Now we're back to a yummy word. The yummy word for the letter Z is zenith. Zenith means the highest point. So we have an illustration of the letter Z at the top of the mountain. The yucky word for the letter Z is zealot. Zealot is an individual who is overly enthusiastic. And we have the letter Z, who looks like he's a little bit angry and definitely overly enthusiastic. Now Noggin is going to help us look at the words in groups. We're going to start with the Yummies. How many do we have, Noggin? 6. Okay, well then let's take a look. First we have the letter U, which is ubiquitous. V, who's obviously a virtuoso or master. W, who is amusing and carefree, whimsical. And we have the X, who's had an X-ray. Y, who is yielding. And Z, who's at the zenith of the mountain. Then we move on to lots of yuckies. Noggin, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's look at those. We have the letter U, who is unruly. V, who is vituperative or abusing, accusing. W, who is willful, who is also stubborn. X, who's xenophobic, afraid of other people. Y, who is yammering. And Z, who is a zealot. And here comes our comic relief. Thanks, Inane I. What is your riddle? Question. It is the beginning of eternity, the end of time and space. It is the start of every end, the end of every place. Oh, a rhyme. A long rhyme. Let's just look at the answer. The letter E. So the beginning of eternity is the letter E. End of time and space is the letter E. And it is the start of every end and the end of every place on the word place. I like that one. Oh boy, quick review. I really do like quick review. I think it's because it moves so quickly across the screen and we do not know from which direction the words and definitions will come from. So, are we ready? Let's get set, and here we go. With the letter X, X-ray X, and that means to examine or to penetrate objects. Y, yielding Y, and that means producing or giving way. V, virtuoso V, means master or expert. W, whimsical W, that means amusing or fanciful. U, ubiquitous U, that means everywhere at once. Z, zenith Z, and the definition is highest point. And those are the yummies. Now for the yuckies. U, unruly U, uncontrollable and noisy. V, vituperative V, that means abusing or accusing. Z, zealot Z, overly enthusiastic. X, xenophobic X, and that means fear of strangers. Y, yammering Y, whining or complaining. W, willful W, stubbornly disobedient. That's the quick review for our yucky words. Great job. And now Noggin is going to help us with the test if you care to take it. The test is easy. You're going to pause the video, find a piece of paper and number it 1 to 10, set a timer for 5 minutes or less, and then move to the next page and stop the video again, and that's the test. After you have completed the test, then you move again to the following page, and there the answers will be. Are we ready, Noggin? Okay, here we go. You've got this. You can do it. Good luck. And here are the answers. I'm sure you did a great job, but if you need to, you can go back and review any or all the portions of this video to help you. Here's a Noggin nugget. Noggin wants to remind us that no matter what we learn, we should see it, say it, write it, and share it. That helps us hold on to it longer. And I agree with Noggin. I know for sure that if we don't use it, we might lose it. And here's a creative way of using it. It's called a wow. We're going to take the words that we learned and we're going to give a compliment by recognizing a virtuoso or pointing out someone who is yielding. Or we can say, wow, that's a whimsical event. And that makes people feel positive or yummy. We can even take yucky words, turn them around, and give a suggestion. For example, we can say, let's help the xenophobic one step at a time, or let's eliminate our unruly behavior today, or even this one, no yammering, no thank you. And while we're using those words, we can search out other sources for additional words, and here's a great source. This is called the Tales of Fort Worth, Texas, and you can find it at www.fortworth.com. You'll notice all of the cartoon characters and the funny expressions. That helps us learn over 65 of what are called advanced vocabulary words, plus another 100 or so synonyms and antonyms. So, this is Ms. Mack. On behalf of Character of America Productions Incorporated, have a great day. And remember, don't stop learning.